Hey everyone, Raccoon Rasa here, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips on cartoon anatomy and what I use when it comes to anatomy. So let's get started! So first I'm going to talk about the different shapes that you usually use. Well, like the basic shapes. You have the circle, the triangle, and the square. And each of these represent something and show you the character of that person that you're drawing. If you use more circles, that means they're friendlier. If you use more triangles, that means they're more on the active and aggressive side. And if you use squares more than any other shape, that means that they're trustworthy and dependable. Now I'm going to show you guys some tips that I usually use, and I want to share them with you too. So the first thing I'm going to give you guys a tip on are the legs. Sometimes they can be really long and sometimes they can be really short, and unless you're doing that on purpose, it's not a good thing. So something that you can do to prevent them from being too long or too short is by imagining them in their own universe and just seeing if they'd be too short or too long. The second thing I'm going to give you guys a tip on are your expressions and how you can exaggerate them. Usually, when you're drawing expressions, you want them to be not lifeless. You want them to be, you want them to have lots of life and almost as if it's in real life. Now, if you're having a hard time doing this, what you can do is you can look at yourself in the mirror and just do those expressions. And you can take that into your own style and just copy that down, and hopefully it'll improve. I'm not so sure, but there's my advice. Now I'm going to move on to the method that I use when it comes to anatomy. Now, if you haven't already figured it out, I use the shape method where I draw some shapes and I form it into a body. Again, using the circle, the triangle, and the square the most. So like I said, I like to use the shape method, which is where basically I put a bunch of shapes in the form of a body and then I connect them up and I turn them into a body and then just add the face and everything else. So using this method is really easy for me at least, and using the tips I gave you at the beginning about the shapes and how expressive they can be, it can be really helpful. So I'm basically drawing out a bunch of characters with different sizes using different shapes, and I'm going to highlight the circles, the triangles, and the squares that I used. Mass is also a very important factor when it comes to anatomy and drawing. You can place the mass in different places of the body, such as the chest or the hips, or the waist, the waist. And then you can also remove most of the mass to make it look like a child, or you can place it in places like the clothing to make it look a bit more different. Now that I'm highlighting the shapes of the body, you can see the different characters. For example, the pear-shaped has more circles, so you can tell that it'll be a more friendly character. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you want to see more. I hope that I got at least a few tips and tricks in because of time and all of that. Anyways, see you next time. Bye! Thank you for oh my gosh, that chicken though! That